Welcome to Force for Growth Live. I'm Ricardo.
I'm Courtney and welcome. And tonight, we are going to be discussing connecting with your childhood. So this should be a fun one. What do you got for us, Ricardo?
All right. So today, March 8th, it's a very sad day in Mexico, South America. We lost who they referred to as everybody's clown. So this guy, his name is Cepillín. I'm wearing the T-shirt for our video listeners. So basically, that's his whole thing. He's just basically a white face with a black beard, like and a red nose. But this was a guy that passed away today. He passed away today, and honestly, like I was like, wow, okay, because I followed him on Facebook and stuff, and I was really just watching him, and I was like thinking of the memories because they would post the old videos and stuff. And
Hmm.
then he went to the hospital a couple of days ago, and today they announced that he passed away. And it's really one of my earliest childhood memories about television.
Wow.
Like, I remember watching his movies. He used to ride one of those bicycles with the big front tire and the little bitty back tire. And I'm gonna have to pull out the movie somewhere. I'm sure it's on YouTube or something like that, right?
Mhm.
But um, but I remember he used to ride that bicycle, and his big thing was that you could save the world with love and happiness and laughter. That was like his whole thing. And like in this movie, there was like this evil guy who was trying to take over the world and all this other stuff. And there was just this whole thing to it about love and happiness and laughter to beat the bad guy and save the world. And he passed away today. And that really made me think about connecting with your childhood, connecting to those early childhood memories.
So will you take me back and however old you were, what kind why did you tune in? What did you enjoy the most?
Well, he was a clown, and clowns never really freaked me out. I know people get freaked out by clowns at times, right? But I mean, he was just a happy-go-lucky dude, you know?
Mhm.
Like he
Yeah.
was just, and he was worldwide famous. Well, in Mexico, he was worldwide in Mexico, South America, and I mean, he was a big deal. So I mean, that's what was on TV. That's what I watched, and I just remember that one movie very vividly where he saved the world with laughter.
That's amazing.
And but I connect with my childhood. Like if I was to scroll around here, let me pull this. So see, I surround myself with Supermans. Like I have
Hmm.
all sorts of Supermans all across around my office,
Yes.
and Fred Flintstone and Top Cat. And these are all characters from my childhood, like that I remember when I was literally, from the age of 0 to 5,
Hmm.
right? And I remember these guys. I remember these characters, and it's fun to surround yourself with them and connect with those memories.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. It's interesting I love how you're talking about characters and how like adults don't play enough, but the funny thing is we're just playing a character too, right? We're just playing this responsible character we think we have to be and we completely forget to play. And I'm myself included. I'm throwing myself right in there that how long has it been since you've played? I don't care what age you are. When was the last time you played, and just
So profound.
like doesn't
Like
have to be any meaning behind it.
I think at a certain point we get to an age where we're like we have to be sophisticated and we have to be the certain way. La
Yeah.
di da di da di da. And I'm gonna start drinking tea with my pinky sticking out.
Right.
No offense to my English to our English listeners. We
Right.
love you. We
We love
love you.
yes.
It's just to think about
I wish I had my
sophistication.
Union Jack mugs. Louise always got me a Union Jack mug whenever she'd come back from England. I was a nanny for many years and she's from England. So anyway, I have like 3 awesome mugs that I love. Anyway,
Nice.
shout out to our English UK
But
guys.
at a certain point, like when you go to an adult, golly, I am an adult. But when you go to someone's house in their office, typically this office is fixed up and nice
Mhm.
and with books and a globe and these very sophisticated, nice things. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'll quote
Mhm.
Seinfeld, right? But where's the fun stuff?
Yeah.
Right? And that's just like my office is Funkos and books and characters and cartoon stuff and Rubik's cubes. It's just looking around and baseball cards and just
Yeah.
stuff that inspires me.
And I love that that's your space to be productive, like, look at that, like, that's your space to be productive, but it has all that creative energy around you that channels that creation from your childhood.
Yeah.
And I think I would say that's what we are missing is that childlike nature in the creativity, but we get so stressed out as adults and so in our head, and how do we solve this problem? Whereas if we just lighten up, move around, play a little bit with possibilities, it doesn't have to mean you literally play, but just open up to how a child wasn't attached to any outcome. They just were in the moment to have fun. And you have that inside you at all times.
Yeah, and I think it's important to honor that childhood,
Yes.
honor that childlike wonder. And even my wife Jessie, she has a vast collection of Wonder Women, Funko Wonder Women, Wonder
Mhm.
Womans. Is it
Yeah.
Wonder Womans if it's more than one
Wonder
Wonder Womans?
Women, what I feel like that's wrong to
She
say.
has a vast collection of Wonder Woman Funkos. There you go.
There you
Right?
go. And it's
And
an
so
impressive little corner. I love her Wonder Woman corner. And even
correct.
when I was looking at it, I started standing. I subconsciously like just started standing the Wonder Woman pose and I noticed it after. I was like, wow, that's
And it
really cute.
inspires her. It makes her feel good, just like Superman inspires me. I'm looking at my Knight Rider, I'm looking at my A-Team characters and stuff that I have over here, right? It
Mhm.
inspires me, it makes me smile, it makes me feel good. And the Seppiin, that's how you pronounce his name, the clown that passed, the clown of clowns, the everyone's clown.
Mhm.
He inspired me. He was 70 something and still doing his thing. He was still
Wow.
touring and still doing shows and
That's what I was curious. I was looking him up. I was wondering, was he still doing it until his late years? And it looked like he was. And I loved it whenever I YouTubed it today, just because I had to figure out who Ricardo was talking about. He made a beautiful post today. And it's he just came it just this lightheartedness as I was watching, an old clip from probably something you saw when you were a child. But I remember we had Bozo the clown and all these, I don't know, those type things creep me out. Where that guy I was like, okay, that one creep me out. But overall, I mean, it was the happy joy, just the fun. Like life does not have to be as serious as we make it. In fact, it might go a little bit easier if we make it less serious in certain areas.
well, Bozo was a little scary, if I may
He was
just go ahead and
creepy. I
go
would say
there. But
creepy.
so what about you, Courtney? What are some of your childhood memories? What do you remember from
Let's
your
see.
younger days?
Well,
What did
one
young Courtney Carr be
one
into?
thing mentioning The Office, and so I played with rocks. I played with mud, and I played with rocks, and I played with all kinds of things. I'm just an outdoor person, so I was always outside playing with something, and I'd collect rocks and things and find cool ones, and so I have crystals just everywhere in my house. So I didn't really appreciate that childhood aspect till you said that a few minutes ago. That's me honoring, why do I love crystals so much? I don't know. It makes me happy. I don't care what anyone else thinks. So
Exactly.
yeah, and so there crystals especially. There's a lot of hype of, oh, they're these energetic, enhancers and things like that. And they're just rocks. They don't do anything. So there's this whole spectrum of opinions. I don't care. I love them. I love being around them. So I surround myself with quite a few. This is my big guy. This is my big selenite, since I'm talking about my crystals. Yeah. This is my cord cutter wand, but I love selenite. I want to collect a lot of crystal wands in my life. So that makes me happy. And in fact, as I say that, and here's a very special quartz crystal wand I have, but I have all my wands right there. And then, so when you asked me the question about my childhood and what characters I remember, I struggled because I know I watched TV. Like I definitely did, cartoon fan, but I don't really recall any that registered that much meaning. However, music was always on. We were always around music and live performances, and my dad's musician, and so I always joke I have, a couple dozen music and uncles that helped raise me, and so we were always going to do things, and I was 7 or I think I was 7 whenever Hanson played at Grapevine Mills Mall in 1997, and, no, I was 8, and, but I remember my parents woke up at like 2 a.m. to drive us out to Grapevine, which was such a drive. And just anyway, later in life, I'd end up driving like so much longer for concerts. It cracks me up. But I love that my parents let us play in that energy. And, they, it had to be pretty miserable for them taking us to Hanson concerts all over because the cliche of the crowd at Hanson screaming being record-breaking decibels, that still holds true. Like, it just the screams are so loud, and so I think back and my parents toting us around, it just made us so happy, and that's why they did it, and that's the sole
That's all
reason
that
why they did it.
matters.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, they were impressed with the fact that these little kids are playing their own instruments, singing their own songs, and writing them too, but it was more the just enjoyment that I'm blessed that I had that freedom to play in that way and, just walk through kind of my childhood singing along and just feeling it, and so okay, to our listeners, what do you have from your childhood that maybe it's been too long since you've stepped back into that, if there's
Or
something. Yeah.
what have you denied?
Oh, that's a good one.
Like, what do you see that pops up online or at a store and you're like, oh, and then you talk yourself like, I can't have that in my house. I can't have that on my dashboard. I can't have that in my office because I'm too old,
Yeah.
or it's not appropriate, or it's not professional, or it's not whatever this or that may be.
And here's my question. Says who? Says who? It's just this made up idea you have in your head about what you're supposed to be. So it's just this loop that we run that we're like, I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I got to be mature.
Correct.
Like,
There's nothing there. Like, why do you deny it if something's gonna make you smile? Like, I see my little Superman, and he makes me smile, right? Like, he makes me smile. I surround myself with things that inspire me, that make me smile, and I won't deny myself something that makes me smile, that makes me feel good.
mhm. There was a moment over this last weekend. So we participated in a watch party with UPW and a Tony Robbins event, and tune into our last episode if you want to hear more about that. But okay, so there's a rebounder trampoline on one side of the
Oh,
room.
yeah, the rebounder.
And then there's a big giant bean bag that y'all brought down from your son's room so I could just anyway, the couch. We were very much in lounge mode on the last day. But so it's a giant bean bag, like giant. And I'm pretty short. So I kind of was having to crawl in it. And it was like a perfect little cocoon. But anyway, so Grace, our dear friend Grace, at one point, the room was empty. And I saw her go over and she started jumping on the trampoline. She just flew and landed on the beanbag. And so I remember watching, I was like, that's fun. So I go over and I was going to do it too. Ricardo walks up and he pulls the beanbag like 5 feet farther than I originally had it. Like I said earlier, I'm short. Okay. And so I'm physically trying to, so anyway, at this point, there's a few of you guys that are encouraging me to jump a lot farther and basically fly across your entire living room and land on the beanbag. Right.
Yeah,
And so
and
fierce.
it is across the living room too.
Yeah. And, oh, anyway, so basically y'all amped me up. You and Julian were there to support me, which you were honest this morning that I would have face planted. So thank you for at least acknowledging it. Okay, because I knew I would.
You
But
would have, because that good.
I would not have been able to. Anyway, either I was landing on the beanbag or I was completely going to injure my face. So, but I made it, and y'all were there to encourage me. And there was a group that was just there to celebrate me, like jumping and flying. Like it's simple things in life, you guys. And afterwards, that meant a lot more to me than I thought it would. And it was because it was aligning with my inner child. And it's just been a long time since I've jumped off something and catapulted myself across the room and flown. And I mean, there's just a lot of freedom in that. So play, like run and jump in a pool and do a cannonball, like run and jump. If you have a beanbag and a rebounder in your house, by the way, that's a requirement. You need to put them together and just fly across. Maybe you're with your kids not watching to not encourage bad
No,
habits, but
yeah,
like,
definitely don't want to encourage
but
that
the
because
joy is there. It's a lot closer than you think, and it's a lot more opportunities. We're literally surrounded by ways to make us joyful or angry, depressed, whatever. It's what we choose, it's what we focus on. And we know that. We've always talked about that. But are you really doing it? Like, can you
Mm.
take it a level deeper?
Can you not deny yourself
Yeah.
that fun and don't
Yeah.
talk yourself out of it? So the next time you see that one toy, that one thing, that one poster, that one whatever that's going to inspire you, do it. Buy it for yourself.
Yeah.
Treat yourself with it,
Yeah.
right? Don't deny yourself. Like Courtney said, says who? Says
Yeah.
who?
These rules we've made up in our head are just BS, guys. Like,
Correct.
yeah.
They don't make sense.
And that creative energy, that creation energy, if you would channel that when you're at your most stressed, you would be shocked at how much progress you would make just making that small shift.
Yes. What's the
And
last thing that you what's the last thing that you did not deny yourself?
ice cream.
Ah,
I
that's
got
such
an
a
ice
good
cream
one.
sundae. Whenever I do get, and I think it was a speaker that said it, but they were like, how long's it been since you've taken your inner child out for ice cream treats?" So I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I love ice cream." So I'm like, "Okay." So every time Freddy's, we have a Freddy's here in Wiley that I love, and so I'll get their like loaded up sundae. But I have that mental thought, and I'm like, "Okay, well, what do you want, inner child?" And so it's this dialogue in my head, but I'm making sure I'm not denying that part of myself, right? I'm making sure
Mm,
that part is acknowledged and knows that I know it still exists. Doesn't matter how old I get, my inner child will always be right there.
correct. You might as well treat it with love.
Yeah.
Let me show you mine. Hold on.
Okay. Oh,
This is
that's
a
funny.
10-inch for our audio listeners. This is a 10-inch limited edition Walmart exclusive Superman Funko.
It's a big guy. Yeah.
He is a big guy. He's 10 inches.
Wow.
So this is the last thing that I was just like, I gotta have this in my office. I still don't have a home for him yet, but
Yeah.
I know that I wanted him in my office because I wanted to look at him and I need to give him a space
Mhm.
so I can see him and he can inspire me.
I love that. You know what that reminds me of? Our dear friend Michelle Martini. She keeps one of those. I don't know the name of it, but it's like the shapes where you put the square through the square hole, or you put the, triangle through the triangle hole, etc. But she keeps one of those in her office. Now, granted, there's a professional aspect to it and like real life, the metaphor of, square peg in a round hole. But my point is, she keeps the actual toy in her office to remind her.
So cool.
Why? Because she had it as a child and she remembers playing with it. And so it's just that deeper connection that drives the meaning to it that, I mean, you can add to it as an adult. You can enhance it as an adult. Just
Yes.
like things that hurt you or trauma from your past, you can dissect and turn down as an adult if you put the spotlight on it and look at it. You can turn up the good things too. You can turn up
Correct.
those, and it doesn't take away from anything. I think that's a big
Huge.
misleading thought, is that people think that if they do this, it'll take away from it. Or best excuse in the world, I don't have time, right? I don't have time. I'm an adult. Okay. Well, I think you need to mandatory do something, go playtime, go swing on a swing set. That's another good one. And my cat's trying to join in. But yeah, just like go swing. Go swing. It's now bonus if you have children. That's easier. You should already be doing this stuff. But why don't you jump on the swing set with them?
Hmm.
Like that's my thing. Is just like it's
It's
it
okay
feels
for you to
good.
go get an ice cream by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, who says that I can't go get ice cream? I want an ice cream. I should really. You drive by the ice cream place, you drive by the Dairy Queen, you drive by the Freddy's. I really would like some ice cream. I should really stop and get me some ice cream. Oh no, but I gotta go get through to this meeting. Or no, I'll ruin my suit. Or no, I'll do da 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 da. Or no, I'll mess up my car's leather interior.
Yeah. Oh, that's one. Come on, guys.
Why not?
It's a material item you're respecting more than your inner child. Come
Stop and get your ice cream.
Yeah. Now, we're not saying every single day, but I mean, you just need to make sure every week or every month or whatever resonates with
Something.
you that you're doing something. You're taking your inner child out for a treat. And it can be, like what was that? I would always want to ask my parents to go down to the creek. There was a creek nearby. So we'd always be like, "Oh, can we go down to the creek?" And just like that sense of adventure. So it's like if you were an adult and you have not wandered around an area just walking or just exploring, or how many years it's been since you've done that, I'd say that's mandatory. You need to go on a
Mm,
little exploration walk with no outcome intended. That's the whole point. No outcome intended. And what that's doing to your brain is it's training you to be where your feet are. When you're in your authentic self, when you're in the moment, when you're where your feet are, meaning your mind, your heart, everything's in one place, just be thankful for that moment. It literally opens up the gratitude and the you can't see when you're stressed out, worried about the future, or you're regretting the past, you can't see what's all around you and the beauty
no.
around you. And I'm not trying to be all woo woo and like, oh, it's magic
Go
all
woo
around,
woo.
but it
Go woo woo,
is.
Courtney. Go
There
woo woo.
is. Yeah, like there literally is. And you're shutting it down. And we wonder why we wake up 50 years later angry and frustrated. And, I'm not claiming to have all the answers, but d- fit some fun in there. Like fun is mandatory to schedule in, guys. Like, and one of my favorite tips on that, I will say that, and a coach gave me this advice because I'm a very structured person in certain ways and very spontaneous in other ways. So, but basically, he advised me to plan days where I don't have any plans. So basically,
Mm,
like, okay, this Saturday, I'm not going to have any plans. I won't decide what I'll do until I wake up on Saturday and ask myself, hey, what do you want to do? But I've cleared a day to have that freedom. Right.
mm.
And so if you're structured, not structured like me, there's ways to do it. So once again, get creative.
And it's
Ask your
okay.
kids advice.
We give you permission to go and do this. We give you permission to connect with your inner child. We give you permission to go get the ice cream and buy you that Superman figure or Wonder Woman figure or whatever figure you remember from a childhood. Go online, find it on eBay, order it,
Yeah.
get it to your house.
Yeah. And then tag us in a picture with it on your desk where you
There
get
you
all
go.
your adult work done.
Yes,
We want to see
hashtag
it.
force for growth.
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
see here. Donna Carr says forest bathing.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, I learned to appreciate that from my dear mother, which is Donna.
Okay,
And
well, first we have to ask,
okay.
what is
Oh,
forest bathing?
sorry. Let me back up. Herbalist in me's going ahead. Okay, so there is a scientific term for the energetic relief you get when you are around nature or when you're in a forest. So, literally, every tree puts off energy, every plant puts off energy, the ground puts off energy, right? The sun puts off energy. So, it's all around you putting off this energy. And so when you're walking through a forest and you let it in, that's also an important part. You got to let it in. If you're walking through a forest pissed off about yesterday, sorry, it's
Mm.
not going to be as healing and therapeutic. So anyway, I learned that from my mother. But yeah, take a walk, just go explore. And learning later as my adult self, the actual scientific, you know, energies and the vibrations from the plant that you can tune into. And Sandy Anthony, one of my favorite energy healers in the world, she talked about that too, and actually led a session where we actually went to a park to each like do a meditation with a tree. And it's way more powerful than you think. Like nature knows, and we're nature. So it cracks me up that the world walks around thinking this world and these, concrete jungles we live in are what's natural. It's not. It's not. So if you ever aren't sure, unplug and go walk in the most nature area near you. So if you have a forest, you hit the jackpot. If you have a walking trail, amazing. If you have a pond you can go walk to, take your dogs, take your kids, borrow a kid, tell your friend, hey, I need to access my inner child. Can I watch your child for a few hours? I plan to take him out for ice cream. We're going to go to a park and we're whatever. This is our goal. They're going to say yes, so help another human out and exchange that energy too. And just the children really benefit from watching their examples as adults dive into their inner child. So,
I love that.
and then my mom said, "But I learned that from you."
I
Aw,
love that.
Mom, that's only because I learned the scientific term that
And
I
that's
taught you,
okay.
but you taught me the concept.
And you know what? You have to be open to that. You have to be open and be like, okay, I'm willing to let go of this fuddy duddy ice, fuddy duddiness, right?
I love that. The best part,
The,
the fuddy duddiness.
you gotta let go of the fuddy duddiness and be like, okay, I'm gonna go walk in the forest and connect with the trees and feel the energy and allow this to penetrate.
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna go and enjoy this ice cream, and I'm even gonna splurge and order extra sprinkles.
Heck yes. Extra whipped
Oh,
cream. I like
Ooh,
extra whipped
and
cream
extra whipped cream.
and 2 cherries.
Yes. And not just one, but
2. Why?
yes.
Because my inner child deserves it.
And why
Hey,
not?
she got me here. Yeah.
Get it. Do it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Let go of that fuddy-duddiness. That's
Yeah.
a
And
disease. That's a new disease. I'm gonna coin that as a disease.
you should, and I really think you should copyright fuddy-duddiness. So, but, like, we literally put all this pressure. Okay, so adults are still trying to find happiness, just like children, right? But the problem with adults is we think it has to be this big, massive thing, like,
Nope.
a new house, you know? That's so I mean, I'm not saying it's not attainable, but why are you putting your happiness in a material thing? Or why are you putting your happiness in needing something to be bigger and better? So it's just bringing that energy into the smaller things in life, like an ice cream,
Yes.
like a walk, like whatever. Like, do
Whatever.
you know
It's
how happy
okay.
it is? Okay, so watching my dog play with a ball, that's something where if ever I'm like, oh, I don't have time, Teddy, like I can't, come on. I stop and I'm like, that's really crappy of me to say, right? Like, and then as I'm playing with him, and so my goal is 5 minutes, just go out there for 5 minutes and play ball with him. But like the happiness watching this dog, like, oh, I forget what movie it is, but 40-Year-Old Virgin, I think. And somebody's like, I wish I loved anything as much as my child loves bubbles.
Mm,
Like, and that's my thing, guys. I don't care what your
profound.
age is, you can. It's just you saying you can't. That's the only
Yes.
thing in the way.
Get out of your own way. We give
Yeah.
you permission to get out of your own way,
Yeah.
explore your
Here's your
inner child,
permission.
connect with your childhood, connect
Yeah.
with your inner child.
And you would be shocked at the peace that will come or the revelations and healing that will come
For
as well.
sure. So pull out your journal, pull out your notebook, get that post-it note off of your monitor, and write one thing that you can do today, right now, to connect with your inner child.
Yes.
Just one.
I love that.
And then
What
go and do it.
what's one thing, so signing off, but final thought, what's one thing you have not done lately that you could do to keep feeding your inner child?
Ooh, I like that. That's
Yeah.
good. Treat yourself. Put that little cartoon character in that fancy office of yours. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Get that kind of wild and crazy tie on.
Mhm.
It's okay. Get you a Superman tie.
Oh,
Get you a Bugs Bunny tie. I bet you'll be the hit of the next
and
office and
wear it with
networking
total
meeting.
confidence.
Correct.
I'll tell you,
Do it.
that's unforgettable. You know what's forgettable? Being like everyone else.
Ooh, yeah. There you
So,
go.
there you go. Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Force for Growth. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Force for Growth.
Yes.
That Instagram is blowing up. It's hot, hot, hot. We've gotten like
is.
200 and something odd followers in the last couple of days. So make sure you go and follow us on that Instagram and Facebook page at Force for Growth. And remember to be a force for good,
A force for growth.
and a force for greatness.
Bye, guys.
Bye.